Good morning, Standard 8 students. Today I shall be teaching you chapter 18. The name of the lesson is A Prophecy Comes True. Now, this particular chapter has been written in a dramatic form. Okay, it is written like the way when we have dramas. So, each speaker is given the chance to speak his dialogues. Okay. So when in a drama, when anyone speaks, we call it their dialogue. So here in this particular story, first you have to understand the background of the story. This particular drama has been taken from William Shakespeare's play Macbeth. The name of that story or drama is Macbeth. Okay. Now, Macbeth and Banquo, these two were great generals under the reign or under the rule of King Duncan. Okay. Now, they were returning victorious from a battle. Now these two were generals, so they were walking across a stretch of empty land, an uncultivated land, and it was a huge stretch. And at that time, the weather was very frightful. It was hazy, there was lightning, thundering, and something weird, scary, which was observed by both Macbeth and Banquo. They found something unusual about this weather condition at that particular time when they were walking across this heath, Heath, means a huge stretch of land or uncultivated land or field. So while they were walking, suddenly they come across some strange or weird looking creatures. And through that haziness or the blur sight, they could see three figures, three creatures. Okay. Sometimes they looked like women. Sometimes they could see the choppy hands, the lips, and they were trying to find out actually what these creatures were. So maybe these creatures belong to the underworld. Because Banquo said it doesn't. Says you don't look like somebody living on earth. You don't look like as if you look like a human being. And if you do look, there is something feminine about you. But unfortunately, these had beards. Now, beard symbolizes men. So it's very strange that these creatures had long, choppy fingers, funny lips, and they were looking as if they were shy or they were scared. And they were, they met Banquo and Macbeth in the middle of this heath, means this field. So, and Macbeth had already expressed that the weather looks very foul, means it's not a favorable weather condition. And then he wanted to know who these creatures are. So he has to challenge them. Now, being generals, they were not scared. Because in the battlefield, there is no room for scared, for a person to be terrified, or frightened, or a scared person. So they challenged these creatures. And then the first witch proclaimed to Macbeth that he will be the Thane of Glamis. Then the second witch immediately said that Macbeth will be the Thane of Cawdor. And then the third witch also said that Macbeth will be the king. So, but while they were prophesying this, they looked very scared. They were giving good news, but in a very frightened manner. Like usually when people give good news, there is a smile on people's faces, there are, you can see the happiness. And that is what Banquo observed. He says, you're giving very good news, but your expressions don't show that you are happy while delivering this good tidings or this good news. Then he says, why don't you tell something about me? Why don't you check the seed of time and see what is my future? And then the first witch said, Macbeth will be great, but you will be greater. Okay. Then the second witch said, Macbeth will not be happy, but you will live a happier life. The third witch said, Macbeth will be the king. Unfortunately, you will never be the king. In fact, you will have many kings before your eyes. Means you will see many kings, but in your life, you are not going to become a king. So now, and then they disappeared. Now Macbeth was thinking, like the news which the witches had given seems to be very good news. I'll be given the title of Thane of Glamis, Thane of Cawdor, and next I will be the king. So he discusses it with Banquo. Now Banquo knows that these are people from the underworld, and whatever they say, and anyone who falls into the trap and run behind their prophecies will never be happy. Because whatever one achieves, it should be achieved through hard work, and you should be meritorious to hold that post, not by hook or by crook or by using unfair means. Now what made Macbeth be very ambitious was that while they were returning back, some of King Duncan's men rode and already proclaimed Macbeth the Thane of Glamis. They all started referring him to the Thane of Glamis. What it means that the first prophecy of the first witch that had come true. The first witch said, Hail to thee, Macbeth, you will be the Thane of Glamis. So before he could reach his kingdom, he got the news that he was already declared the Thane of Glamis. Then again he also got, as they went further up into the kingdom, again he comes to know that he was also declared as the Thane of Cawdor. So now both the first witch and the second witch, both these witches' prophecies had come true. So what he did was, that was playing in his mind. If the first and the second prophecy had come true, then I think the third one will also come true. And Banquo, for him, he told Macbeth not to go deep into these people's prophecies. So maybe the Thane of Glamis or the Thane of Cawdor came in as appreciation of Macbeth, the general, fighting and winning a lot of battles for King Duncan. So perhaps as a reward, he may have been given this title of the Lord of Glamis and the Lord of Cawdor. But now the question arises, what about the king? Will the third prophecy come true? So now we shall read again further up to see what takes place in the rest of the play or the drama. Thank you.